My precious child, something is happening in the spirit realm right now that you were not supposed to hear about, yet here you are. This is not random. This is not coincidence. And it is not by accident that you are listening at this exact hour. God is crying while begging you. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Creator of heaven and earth is calling your name with urgency. A huge miracle is about to happen right in front of you, but time is very limited. If you ignore this right now, you will miss it. This is not fear. This is divine timing. And the clock is already moving toward 11:57 p.m. There are moments in life when heaven opens quietly, and there are moments when heaven trembles, desperate for your attention. This is the second kind. You have been praying. You have been asking. You have been wondering if God even sees what you are going through. But what you did not know is that your name has been echoing in the courts of heaven. Angels have been assigned. Doors have been prepared. A shift has been scheduled. And yet there is one condition. You must respond. Right now, in the spirit, something is aligning. A miracle that was delayed is being repositioned. A breakthrough that seemed impossible is standing at your door. But it will not force itself into your life. God does not break in. He invites. And He is begging you to open this message urgently. Why tonight? Why 11:57 p.m.? Because there are divine windows that open for a short time. Spiritual opportunities that do not wait forever. You have missed some before. That is why this feels so intense. Deep down, you know this moment is different. You may feel a strange pull in your heart. A nervous energy. A quiet whisper telling you, pay attention. That is not anxiety. That is alignment. God is not crying out of weakness. He is crying because He sees what you can't see. He sees how close you are. He sees the miracle forming. He sees the blessing hovering. And He knows how easily distraction could steal it from you. You have been distracted before. You have postponed divine instructions before. You have said, I will do it later. And later never came. But tonight is not later. Tonight is a line in the sand. There is a huge miracle about to happen right in front of you. Not next year. Not someday. Right in front of you. Something visible. Something undeniable. Something that will silence every voice that doubted you. He is asking you to open your heart before 11:57 p.m. Not just physically, spiritually. Because at that exact moment, something shifts. The tears of God are not about punishment. They are about urgency. A father watching his child stand inches away from a blessing and not realizing it. A loving Creator seeing destiny within reach, yet knowing free will can delay it again. You have been through storms recently. Emotional storms. Financial pressure. Silent battles that nobody knows about. You smiled in public, but inside you questioned everything. And heaven saw it all. What you did not realize is that those storms were positioning you. Breaking pride. Softening your heart. Clearing space. Making room for something greater. A miracle that is coming cannot land on a hardened heart. It requires openness, sensitivity, awareness. And that is why this message found you before the deadline. You may think, why would God beg me? Because love begs. Love does not control. Love invites. Love waits at the door and knocks. And right now, He is knocking loudly. There are angels assigned to your household tonight. There is movement around your name. There is preparation happening in ways you cannot measure. But distraction is the enemy. Scrolling past this moment would be easy. Ignoring this would be easy. Saying I will come back later would be easy. But easy has never brought your miracle. Tonight, you are being asked to choose awareness over comfort, obedience over delay, attention over indifference. Something will happen before this night ends. And when it does, you will remember this exact message. You will remember that you were warned with love, that you were called by name, that you were invited before the shift. Do not treat this lightly. There is a reason your heart is beating faster right now. There is a reason your eyes did not move away. There is a reason you feel this urgency in your spirit. It is because the miracle is not in the future anymore. It is at your door, and heaven is waiting for your response. Beloved soul, what you are about to understand now will change the way you see this entire night. The urgency you feel is not pressure from the world. It is pressure from destiny. There is a difference. The world pressures you to perform. Destiny calls you to awaken. And right now, heaven is not asking you to perform perfectly. It is asking you to be present completely. The reason time feels limited is because divine windows do not stay open forever. God has already prepared the miracle. The tears you sensed in the beginning were not symbolic. They were spiritual. When God cries, it is because his heart is invested. He is not distant from your situation. He is deeply involved in it. Every sleepless night you had, he was there. Every silent tear you wiped away, he saw it. Every time you almost gave up but did not, heaven recorded it. And now, the reward for your endurance is standing close. But here is what you must understand carefully. Miracles do not always arrive with noise. Sometimes they arrive quietly, disguised as a decision, a small step, a moment of obedience. Tonight, before 11:57 p.m., you will feel prompted to do something simple. It may seem small, it may seem almost insignificant, but that small act will unlock something massive. This is why ignoring this message would be dangerous for your destiny. Not because God wants to punish you, but because missed timing delays manifestation. You have been in a season of waiting. Waiting for answers. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for breakthrough. And waiting can make a person numb. It can make you scroll past important moments because disappointment trained you not to expect much and more. But this time is different. There is a shift happening in your atmosphere. Even now, as you listen, something inside you is becoming alert. Your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. That is why you are still here. God is begging not because he is weak, but because your participation matters. He will not override your will. He will not force your miracle into your life. He honors your choice. That is why this hour is sacred. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you delayed something that later cost you peace? How many times did you feel a nudge but ignored it? This is not one of those moments you can afford to postpone. Before tonight ends, line your heart. Speak to God, even if it is just one sentence. Say, I am ready. The declaration alone will shift energy around you. The miracle about to happen is not random luck. It is the result of spiritual preparation. The battles you survived were not meaningless. They were refining you. You were being strengthened quietly while you thought you were just struggling. And now, you stand at the edge of fulfillment. There are people who will not understand what is happening in your life after this. They will say it happened suddenly. They will say it was coincidence. But you will know it was this moment. This decision. This awareness. Do not let distraction steal this. Right now, I want you to pause and really feel what is being said. If something inside you is agreeing, if something inside you feels awakened, then engage with this moment. Like this video as a sign that you are choosing alignment. Share it with someone who has been waiting for their own breakthrough. Comment what you are believing for before midnight. Subscribe to this channel if you know you are being spiritually positioned in this season. When you take action publicly, you are declaring agreement privately. And agreement activates movement. There is power in collective faith. There is power when thousands decide at the same time that they will not miss their divine window. Your engagement is not just interaction. It is declaration. As the clock moves closer to 11:57 p.m., something in the spiritual realm is also moving closer to you. You may not see it yet, but you will feel the shift. It might come as peace. It might come as clarity. It might come as an unexpected message or opportunity. But remember this: the miracle responds to readiness. Stay attentive. Something in the next revelation will make everything even clearer, and you will understand why this specific hour was chosen. Hold on to this feeling, because what is unfolding is far bigger than you think. Chosen one, the reason this message feels heavier now is because you are stepping into the deepest layer of what heaven has been preparing. The urgency is no longer just about time. It is about alignment. There is a difference between wanting a miracle and being positioned for it. Tonight, God is not just offering you something extraordinary. He is aligning you to sustain it. When it was said that God is crying while begging you, it was not emotional exaggeration. It was spiritual truth. There are moments recorded in the unseen realm when divine compassion overflows. Not because God is helpless, but because He sees how close you are to something life-altering. He sees how one small hesitation could postpone what He has been orchestrating for months, even years. You have prayed for change. You have asked for a sign. You have asked for something undeniable. What you did not realize is that signs often come disguised as responsibility. Before 11:57 p.m., there will be a spiritual exchange. An invisible shift that requires your conscious agreement. If you ignore this, the opportunity does not disappear forever, but it moves. And when divine timing moves, it does not always return in the same form. This is why tonight matters. You are not just waiting for a miracle. The miracle is waiting for your yes. There is something powerful about a deadline. It forces clarity. It removes excuses. It exposes boundaries. As the clock moves closer to that specific minute, heaven is watching your focus. Not your perfection. Not your history. Your focus. Because focus is faith in motion. God is begging because distraction has been your greatest enemy. Not failure. Not sin. Not weakness. Distraction. The subtle ability of the world to pull your eyes away from what truly matters. And tonight, you are being invited to break that pattern. Imagine this. Angels are positioned around your future, holding instructions. They are not permitted to release certain things until your heart posture shifts fully. This is not punishment. This is partnership. You are not a spectator in your destiny. You are a participant. The tears of God are tears of anticipation. He sees the relief that is about to wash over you. He sees the testimony forming. He sees the moment when you will realize that this night changed everything. But He also sees how fragile human attention can be. That is why this call feels so intense. You may feel unworthy of a huge miracle. You may feel like you have made too many mistakes. But understand this clearly. The miracle is not coming because you are flawless. It is coming because you are loved. And love fights for connection. before 11:57 p.m. Do not just listen. Respond. Speak. Pray. Even whisper if you have to. Say, God, I am present. I will not miss what you are doing. That simple acknowledgement opens doors in the unseen realm. Something significant is about to happen right in front of you. It may manifest as a breakthrough conversation, an unexpected confirmation, a release of peace you have not felt in months, or a tangible opportunity that shifts your path. But it will be obvious. And when it happens, you will remember this warning. Do not ignore this right now. There are moments in history where people stood at the edge of transformation and did not recognize it. Tonight, you have been warned in advance. That is mercy. The atmosphere around you is charged. Even if your physical surroundings look ordinary, spiritually, they are not. This is a divine appointment disguised as a message. Lean in. Focus. Prepare your heart. Because at 11:57 p.m., something seals. If this message is stirring something deep inside you, then declare your agreement boldly. Type "I am ready for my miracle" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 1157 has just been activated over those who respond in faith. And as this sacred code is released, understand something greater. When you sow into what feeds your spirit, you become part of the harvest of others. Right now, this message is not just about you. It is about the thousands who need to hear God's voice before their own midnight hour. Scripture says, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That is not just a verse. It is God speaking directly to you, promising overflow when you move in obedience. If your heart is burning and you feel called to help spread this urgency to souls who are on the edge of missing their moment, then act. Use super thanks. Step into membership. Sow through the PayPal link in the description. This is not a donation. This is a seed into fertile ground. When you give, you release oil into this mission so that light reaches homes that are still in darkness. I declare that every seed sown tonight returns as protection, favor, and acceleration over your life. Do not hesitate. Move as the Spirit moves you. Activate your obedience now. Faithful heart, now that you have declared your readiness, something subtle but powerful has already begun to move. You may not see fireworks in the sky. You may not hear thunder shaking the ground. But in the Spirit, alignment has started. The moment you chose not to ignore this call, you step into cooperation with heaven. Understand this clearly. Miracles are not random surprises. They are orchestrated intersections between divine timing and human obedience. For weeks, maybe even months, events have been quietly rearranging themselves around you. Conversations you thought were ordinary were actually positioning you. Delays you complained about were actually protection. Closed doors were not rejection. They were redirection. And tonight, the redirection is completing its cycle. When God cries while begging you, it is not because He needs something from you. It is because He longs to give something to you that requires your awareness. The miracle about to unfold is not small. It carries weight. It carries consequence. It carries transformation. But transformation always begins internally before it manifests externally. Right now, your heart is being calibrated. Doubt is being challenged. Fear is being exposed. Old narratives that told you nothing ever changes are being confronted. You are not the same person you were in your last season of disappointment. You are stronger now, wiser, more discerning. That growth is the reason this miracle can finally land. You have asked God, why has it taken so long? The truth is, if it had come earlier, you would not have been ready to handle it. You might have sabotaged it unknowingly. You might have doubted it away. But now, after everything you have endured, you carry a different posture. There is a seriousness in your spirit tonight, a clarity that this is not just another emotional moment. This is divine instruction. As the hours move closer to that specific time, pay attention to your environment. Pay attention to your thoughts. There may be subtle confirmations, a sudden peace washing over you, a memory resurfacing that now makes sense, a message, a call, or an idea that feels aligned. Do not dismiss small shifts. Often, the greatest miracles begin quietly. The reason this must happen before 11:57 p.m. is because timing in the spirit realm functions like a gate. When a gate opens, it creates passage. When it closes, it does not mean the promise dies. It simply means the route changes. And some routes are longer than others. God is begging you to walk through the shorter path. You have already wasted enough time in detours. Enough time questioning your worth. Enough time entertaining voices that told you your breakthrough would never come. Tonight, heaven is offering acceleration. But acceleration requires courage. Courage to believe again. Courage to respond again. Courage to trust that this time will be different. There is something else you must understand. The miracle about to happen right in front of you is not only for your benefit. It is also a sign to those watching your life. There are people who silently observe you. They know your struggles. They know your battles. When this breakthrough becomes visible, it will challenge their disbelief. Your testimony will speak louder than your explanations ever could. And that is why the enemy of distraction tried so hard to keep you numb. If you remain distracted, you would miss the visible hand of God moving in your reality. You would call it coincidence instead of covenant. But now you are aware. Right now, take a slow breath. Feel the weight of this moment. This is not about hype. It is about positioning. The spiritual atmosphere around you is sensitive. Your focus acts like a magnet. What you concentrate on grows stronger. So choose expectation over skepticism. If thoughts of doubt try to creep in, confront them immediately. Remind yourself of every past prayer that was eventually answered. Remind yourself of moments when God showed up unexpectedly. Your history contains evidence. You are not stepping into something unfamiliar. You are stepping into a pattern of faithfulness that has followed you all your life. Before this night ends, something will shift tangibly. It may be external. It may be internal. But it will be undeniable. And when it happens, you will realize that God's tears were not of sorrow. They were tears of urgency, of longing to bless, of anticipation that his child would finally pay attention. You are paying attention now. Hold that posture. Guard this atmosphere. Protect your focus. Because what is about to unfold next will reveal why the miracle had to come with a warning attached to it, and why ignoring it would have cost more than you imagined. Steady your heart, because what you are about to understand now explains why this miracle could not arrive casually. It had to come with urgency. It had to come with a warning. It had to come with a plea from heaven itself. The weight you feel is not pressure meant to crush you. It is significance meant to awaken you. There are certain blessings that change circumstances, and then there are blessings that change identity. What is approaching you tonight belongs to the second category. This is not just about solving a temporary problem. This is about shifting how you see yourself and how others see you. It is about stepping into a new level of authority in your own life. For a long time, you have operated beneath your true spiritual capacity. You accepted less than what was written over your destiny, not because you lacked faith, but because repeated disappointments trained you to expect survival instead of overflow. You learned how to endure, but you forgot how to anticipate. Tonight, anticipation is being restored. God is crying while begging you because He refuses to let you settle in a smaller version of your calling. He sees the bigger picture. He sees doors that you cannot yet see. He sees influence expanding, stability forming, peace returning in ways that feel permanent instead of temporary. But the doorway into that future is attention and obedience in this present hour. There's something profound about responding when it would be easier to ignore. It signals maturity. It signals readiness. It signals trust. And trust is the currency of miracles. The reason ignoring this moment would cost you is not because God would withdraw love. It is because misalignment creates delay. Delay creates frustration. Frustration tempts you to shrink back again. And shrinking back would place you in another cycle of waiting. You are tired of cycles. You are tired of repeating lessons. You are tired of feeling almost there but not quite. That is why this message found you with intensity. Because you are closer than you realize. In the unseen realm, movements have already been authorized. Think of it like a contract that is prepared but waiting for your signature. Heaven has done its part. Angels have been dispatched. Circumstances have been adjusted. And now your agreement seals the process. Agreement is not complicated. It is a decision in your heart that says, I trust you, even when I cannot see everything. Before 11:57 p.m., you are being invited to make that internal decision consciously, not casually, not emotionally only, intentionally. There may be a specific thought or action that keeps coming to your mind while you listen. Do not dismiss it. Sometimes the Spirit speaks softly but repeatedly. It might be a conversation you need to have, a step you need to take, a surrender you need to make. Whatever it is, it connects directly to the miracle forming in front of you. The breakthrough is not abstract. It is tangible. You will know it when it manifests because it will carry peace with it. Real miracles do not create confusion. They create clarity. Even if they require courage, they still carry peace underneath. You have been in confusion long enough. Mixed signals, unclear outcomes, delayed answers. Tonight marks a dividing line between confusion and confirmation. But confirmation requires courage to step forward. There is also something else unfolding. This miracle is going to restore something that disappointment tried to steal from you. Maybe it was confidence. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was joy. Whatever was drained from you during past battles is about to be replenished. And that restoration will feel almost overwhelming because you forgot what it felt like to expect good news. Let this sink in deeply. You are not being warned because something bad is coming. You are being warned because something good is coming quickly. Quick blessings require quick alignment. As the minutes continue to pass, guard your thoughts carefully. The enemy of destiny often whispers doubt right before breakthrough. Thoughts like, this is too dramatic, or nothing will really change, may try to surface. Recognize them for what they are: resistance to transformation. You are not imagining this shift. You are not exaggerating the urgency. You are standing at the edge of visible manifestation. And when it happens, you will remember that heaven begged you not to miss it. Stay steady. Stay focused. Keep your heart open. Because what unfolds next will reveal the final layer of why this miracle required your full attention tonight. and how responding correctly will echo far beyond this single hour. Listen carefully now, because the atmosphere around this message is becoming even more intense. What began as a warning is now unfolding into revelation. You were not only being prepared for a miracle, you were being prepared for exposure. Not exposure of shame, but exposure of truth. Something hidden is about to come into the light, and that light is connected to your breakthrough. There have been unseen barriers operating around you. Quiet resistances, subtle delays, patterns that seemed harmless but were quietly limiting your progress. Tonight, before that sacred minute arrives, clarity is being released. You are about to see what was blocking you. And once you see it, it will lose its power. This is why God was crying while begging you. Because once truth is revealed, you cannot return to ignorance. Awareness changes responsibility, and responsibility unlocks authority. The miracle forming in front of you is not just an external reward. It is a correction, a divine adjustment. Something that was misaligned will be realigned. A misunderstanding will be cleared. A hidden motive, either in you or around you, will surface gently, but undeniably. Do not fear what comes to light. Light does not arrive to destroy you. It arrives to free you. You have been walking with partial information, making decisions with incomplete understanding, trusting certain assumptions because you did not have full clarity. But tonight, heaven is removing the veil. When that veil lifts, you may experience a moment of shock. Not because something terrible is happening, but because you will suddenly understand what God was protecting you from all along. You will see how certain delays were actually divine interventions. You will recognize how certain rejection saved you from deeper complications. And in that recognition, gratitude will replace frustration. As this truth unfolds, your faith will strengthen. Not a shallow faith built on excitement, but a rooted faith built on evidence. You will know that God was not ignoring you. He was orchestrating details behind the scenes. Now hear this clearly. When this revelation becomes visible, do not stay silent about it. Engage with it. Declare it. If this message is resonating deeply, if you feel something shifting already, then interact with this moment. Like this video as a sign that you are choosing light over confusion. Share it with someone who has been stuck in uncertainty. Comment what you believe is being exposed and restored in your life tonight. Subscribe to this channel if you know you are stepping into a season of clarity and breakthrough. Your public agreement strengthens your private conviction. There is power in unified expectation. When many hearts align at once, the atmosphere changes. And here is something you must not overlook. The miracle is not separate from the exposure. They are connected. Once the hidden thing is revealed, space opens for blessing to land fully. It is like clearing debris from a foundation before building higher. Without clearing, the structure would collapse under weight. With clearing, it can rise securely. You have asked for stability. You have asked for something lasting that requires preparation. Before 11:57 p.m., you will sense the shift. It may come through a sudden realization. It may come through a conversation. It may even come through an inner conviction that feels unmistakable. Whatever form it takes, receive it without resistance. Because resistance would delay freedom. This is not the time to shrink back. This is the time to lean in fully. The tears of God were tears of urgency because He knew how crucial this exposure would be for your future. He knew that without this moment of awakening, the miracle would not be sustainable. But now you are awake. Stay with this. What unfolds next will connect everything together in a way that will leave no doubt in your mind that this night was divinely arranged. Hold your focus, because the next revelation will tie the miracle, the exposure, and the deadline into one undeniable confirmation. Take a deep breath, because now everything begins to connect. The urgency, the tears, the deadline, the exposure, the miracle. None of it was separate. It was one divine sequence moving toward this exact point. What is about to happen is not random. It is a culmination. You have been in preparation longer than you realized. Seasons of silence train your discernment. Seasons of delay strengthen your patience. Seasons of confusion sharpen your intuition. You thought you were just surviving. In reality, you were being equipped. Now the equipping meets opportunity. When God was crying while begging you, it was because this moment carries generational weight. This is not just about one answered prayer. This is about shifting a pattern that has followed you for years. A pattern of almost breakthroughs. A pattern of near success. A pattern of getting close but not crossing the line. Tonight, you cross the line. The reason time is limited is because momentum is building. Momentum, once activated, moves quickly. If you hesitate at the wrong second, you disrupt the flow. But if you step forward in agreement, the flow carries you further than your own strength ever could. There is something powerful about divine acceleration. It does not look rushed. It looks precise. Doors open in sequence. Conversations align. Their sources connect. Clarity sharpens. It feels almost effortless, not because you did not struggle before, but because the resistance had been removed. And resistance has been removed because truth was exposed. Now that hidden obstacles are coming into light, you are no longer fighting shadows. You are moving with vision. And vision changes everything. Before 11:57 p.m., there will be a defining inner decision. You will either fully trust what you are sensing, or you will retreat into familiar doubt. That choice will determine how smoothly this miracle manifests. Trust is not blind optimism. It is informed surrender. It is looking at your past evidence of divine protection and deciding that this moment deserves belief. Remember the times when things worked out unexpectedly in your favor. Remember the moments when you were saved from situations you later realized would have harmed you. That was not luck. That was orchestration. This night is another orchestration. You may feel both excitement and nervousness at the same time. That mixture is normal when destiny shifts. Excitement signals opportunity. And nervousness signals growth. Growth always stretches comfort zones. Do not interpret stretching as danger. Interpret it as expansion. There is also a deeper layer to this miracle that will restore authority to your voice. For a long time, you have doubted your own instincts. You second-guessed yourself. You asked others to validate what you already sensed. But after tonight, your discernment will sharpen dramatically. You will trust your inner guidance more. You will move with confidence instead of hesitation. And that confidence will open doors that once felt intimidating. This is why ignoring this message would have been costly. It would have delayed the strengthening of your own spiritual authority. It would have postponed your transition from uncertainty to clarity. But you did not ignore it. You stayed. And staying is proof of readiness. As the final minutes approach, quiet your environment if possible. Reduce distraction. Even a few moments of intentional stillness can amplify alignment. Speak gratitude out loud. Gratitude seals expectation. Something visible is about to confirm everything that has been spoken. It may not be dramatic in appearance, but it will be undeniable in impact. You will feel the shift internally even if others do not immediately understand it. And when that shift occurs, hold it carefully. Do not rush to explain it to everyone. Some miracles need incubation before public announcement. You are stepping into a new rhythm now. A rhythm of alignment instead of anxiety. A rhythm of clarity instead of confusion. A rhythm of trust instead of tension. This is the turning point, and what unfolds next will not only confirm the miracle, it will reveal why heaven was so urgent about this specific hour, and how your obedience tonight unlocks more than just one breakthrough. Remain attentive, because this is where the spiritual intensity reaches its peak. You have felt the buildup. You have sensed the alignment. Now the reason for the urgency becomes unmistakably clear. The miracle that is about to happen in front of you is not simply an event. It is a transfer. Something is being transferred into your life tonight. Authority, favor, access. These are not abstract spiritual words. They are tangible shifts in position. Where you once struggled to be heard, you will now be recognized. Where you once felt blocked, you will now find pathways opening with less resistance. This is why God was crying while begging you, because the transfer requires your agreement. Heaven does not impose promotion. It invites participation. There has been a ceiling over you. Not a curse, not punishment, but a limitation shaped by past wounds and quiet fears. You carried those wounds so long that they began to define your expectations. You adjusted your dreams to match your disappointments. You shrank your vision to avoid being hurt again. But tonight, that ceiling cracks. Before 11:57 p.m., there will be a defining moment where you feel something lift internally. It may come as sudden clarity about a decision. It may come as the deep peace about something that once caused anxiety. It may come as boldness rising in your chest where hesitation once lived. That is the transfer. When the ceiling breaks, you may feel vulnerable for a second. Expansion always feels unfamiliar at first. But do not retreat. The unfamiliar space is your new level. The miracle happening in front of you will confirm this shift externally. Perhaps a door that seemed firmly closed will suddenly reopen. Perhaps a person who withheld support will change posture. Perhaps an opportunity you thought was lost will reappear in a different form. Watch closely. The key is not to overanalyze it. Simply receive it. God's tears were tears of longing because he knew how easily you could dismiss this as coincidence. He knew how quickly your logical mind might try to minimize what your spirit recognizes as divine. Do not minimize what unfolds tonight. You have prayed for something greater. You have asked for breakthrough. Now that it is arriving, do not shrink in false humility. There is nothing arrogant about receiving what heaven prepared. And understand this, the transfer is not just for you. It positions you to become a source of stability for others. When you step into clarity, those connected to you benefit. When you step into favor, doors open for those around you. This is generational impact. The deadline was not to create fear. It was to create focus. Because focus seals transfers. Right now, if your heart feels stirred, respond again. Type "I receive the transfer" in the comments if you feel this shift happening in your life. Blessing code 808 has now been released over every person who responds in faith and alignment. And as this code activates, hear this clearly. When you sow into what carries light, you become part of someone else's breakthrough. The word declares, those who water others will themselves be watered. That is not a distant promise. That is God speaking directly to you in this moment. If this message has opened your eyes, if it has positioned your spirit before your midnight hour, then move prophetically. Use super thanks as a sedum agreement. Tap into membership as a covenant of partnership. So through the PayPal link in the description as an act of obedience. This is not about funding a channel. This is about fueling a river of revelation so it reaches homes where someone else is standing at their own 11:57 p.m. As you give, I declare expansion over your finances, clarity over your decisions, and protection over your household. Do not delay your obedience. Act now and seal this transfer with faith. Stay steady. The final unfolding is near, and what happens next will confirm beyond doubt that this night was never ordinary. Stay grounded, because what is happening now is the confirmation phase. You have felt the urgency. You have sensed the exposure. You have received the transfer. Now comes the visible evidence. This is where faith turns into sight. The miracle about to happen right in front of you is not distant anymore. It is unfolding in real time. You may already notice subtle differences. A shift in your emotional state. A calmness replacing pressure. A clarity replacing confusion. These are not random mood changes. They are spiritual confirmations translating into physical awareness. When God was crying while begging you, it was because he knew this confirmation would require courage to accept. Sometimes, when blessings finally arrive, people hesitate. Not because they do not want them, but because they fear losing them. After enduring so many delays, the mind can struggle to trust sudden favor. But this is not fragile favor. This is established alignment. The ceiling that once limited you has cracked. The hidden obstacles that blocked you have been exposed. The internal hesitation that weakened your confidence have been confronted. Now, what stands before you is opportunity without the old weight attached to it. Before 11:57 p.m., you will experience a defining signal. It may be external, like a message, a response, or a sudden opening. Or it may be internal, like a certainty settling deep in your spirit that something has permanently shifted. Whatever form it takes, it will carry one undeniable characteristic: peace. True miracles come with peace, even when they require action. If action is required tonight, take it without delay. Do not overthink. Do not consult unnecessary opinions. This moment is between you and God. The begging you sensed earlier was not desperation. It was divine insistence that you not sabotage your own elevation through hesitation. You have grown beyond the version of yourself that second-guessed everything. That version was shaped by survival. This new version is shaped by revelation. There is also something else unfolding quietly. The people who once doubted you may begin to shift their tone. The environment that felt resistant may feel more cooperative. The tension that hovered in certain areas of your life may begin to dissolve. This is not manipulation. It is alignment. When you align internally, your external world responds. You must guard your response carefully. Do not announce victory too early in arrogance, but do not downplay it in fear either. Hold it with gratitude. Speak thankfulness even before the full manifestation completes. Gratitude accelerates permanence. Remember how intense the beginning of this message felt. Remember the weight of the warning not to ignore it. That intensity was necessary because your breakthrough required full attention. If you had treated this casually, you would have missed the subtle cues. You would have dismissed the internal promptings. But you did not dismiss them. You stayed attentive. And because you stayed, you are now standing in confirmation. The next layer of this shift involves responsibility. With increased clarity comes increased expectation. Not pressure from God, but expansion of capacity. You are being trusted with more influence, more discernment, more stability. Do not shrink from that trust. You asked for growth. Growth has arrived. As the clock approaches that final minute, settle your heart. Release any remaining anxiety. You are not about to lose something. You are about to secure something. A miracle is not fragile. It is anchored in divine timing. There will be a final sealing moment, and when it happens, you will sense completion. Not an ending, but a beginning. A new chapter opening quietly, but powerfully. What unfolds next will bring everything full circle. The tears, the urgency, the warning, the exposure, the transfer, the confirmation. All of it converges into one final realization that will anchor this night in your memory permanently. Hold your focus, because this is the sealing hour. Everything that has been building is now converging into a single, decisive moment. The urgency you felt at the beginning was not emotional intensity. It was prophetic timing. And now, as the final minutes approach 11:57 p.m., heaven is finalizing what it started. A miracle is no longer forming. It is landing. You may feel a sudden stillness right now. A quietness that feels almost sacred. That is not emptiness. That is completion. When God was crying while begging you, it was because he knew how critical your attention would be in this exact phase. If you had looked away too soon, you might have missed the landing. But you stayed aligned. And because you stayed, what is happening now carries permanence. There is a difference between temporary relief and lasting shift. Temporary relief solves a moment. Lasting shift transforms direction. What is happening before you tonight is directional. It alters the path ahead of you. The pattern of almost breakthrough has ended. The cycle of delay has been interrupted. This is not exaggeration. It is culmination. Before 11:57 p.m., you will sense the final confirmation. It may be subtle but unmistakable. A message that arrives at the right second. A realization that clicks into place. A door that opens with surprising ease. Or even an inner conviction that says, "It is done." Do not doubt that voice. The tears at the beginning were tears of longing for this exact outcome. God was not begging for worship. He was begging for your awareness. Because awareness allowed you to cooperate. And cooperation allowed manifestation. And now listen closely. As this moment seals, your response matters again. Engage with this shift intentionally. Like this video as a declaration that you witnessed your own turning point. Share it with someone who is standing at the edge of their own breakthrough and needs courage to pay attention. Comment what changed for you tonight. Subscribe if you recognize that you are stepping into a season where clarity replaces confusion and favor replaces frustration. When you interact, you are not just supporting a platform. You are marking a milestone in your own journey. Stay with this, because what you are feeling right now is rare. You will want to remember how this alignment felt, how this certainty settled in your spirit. There is also something deeper happening beneath the surface. The authority transferred to you earlier is stabilizing. It is anchoring into your identity. You will begin to notice that you speak differently. You think differently. You respond differently. Situations that once intimidated you will now feel manageable. That is the evidence of internal promotion. And with promotion comes responsibility. Not heavy responsibility, but mature responsibility. You are now accountable to the clarity you received. Do not return to old thought patterns tomorrow. Do not shrink back into doubt next week. Protect this new level with discipline. The miracle is not an isolated event. It is the beginning of a new rhythm. As the clock reaches its appointed second, there will be a quiet sealing. You may not hear it audibly, but you will sense completion. It will feel like a door gently closing behind you while another opens ahead. You did not miss it. You did not ignore it. You responded. And because you responded, what unfolds next will not only confirm this night, but it will reveal how this miracle extends beyond one moment into a season of sustained breakthrough. Stay attentive to the final revelation, because it will anchor everything permanently in your spirit. Be still for a moment and truly recognize what has just happened. The hour you were warned about has passed. Yet instead of loss, you feel stability. Instead of regret, you feel assurance. That is the evidence that you did not miss your moment. You stepped into it. When God was crying while begging you at the beginning of this message, it was not because something terrible was about to disappear. It was because something extraordinary was about to be secured. Now you understand. The urgency was not about fear. It was about focus. The tears were not about desperation. They were about deep love refusing to let you drift past destiny again. What has shifted tonight is not fragile. It is established. You may not see every detail immediately, but the internal change is undeniable. There is a grounded confidence rising in you. The restless questioning that followed you for months feels quieter now. The anxious wondering, will anything ever change, has been replaced with calm certainty. It already has. That certainty is the true miracle. External confirmations will continue to unfold in the coming days. Conversations will align. Opportunities will surface. Delayed responses will come through. But the greatest shift has already taken place inside you. Your posture has changed. You are no longer waiting from a place of doubt. You are expecting from a place of alignment. This is what heaven was protecting. If you had ignored the warning, you would have remained distracted. If you had scrolled past the urgency, you would have dismissed the subtle promptings that prepared you for this exact transition. But you stayed attentive. You allowed your heart to be recalibrated. You responded when it would have been easier to postpone. And now you stand in evidence of obedience. Here is something powerful about crossing an invisible line. Nothing dramatic may have happened outwardly at that exact minute, yet everything changed inwardly. The ceiling that cracked earlier did not repair itself. It shattered permanently. The hidden barriers that were exposed do not regain authority once light has touched them. You are not returning to who you were before this night. The miracle happening in front of you may unfold in stages, but its foundation is already sealed. Think of it like a contract signed in the spirit realm. The details may continue to populate, but the agreement is complete. You will notice in the days ahead that your discernment is sharper. You will sense what is aligned and what is not with greater ease. You will decline distractions faster. You will pursue clarity more confidently. This is not coincidence. It is the result of choosing awareness over apathy. God's tears at the beginning were tears of anticipation. A father longing to see his child finally recognize their moment. And now that you have, heaven rejoices in quiet satisfaction. There is also restoration happening beneath the surface. Confidence that was drained by past disappointments is being replenished. Faith that felt tired is being strengthened. Hope that once felt fragile is becoming steady. Do not rush to prove anything to anyone. Let this shift mature naturally. Real transformation does not need constant announcement. It reveals itself through consistent results. You will begin to notice doors opening with less struggle. Resistance that once felt immovable will seem lighter. Situations that once overwhelmed you will appear manageable. This is not because life suddenly became perfect. It is because you have stepped into a higher level of alignment. And alignment changes perspective. Remember this feeling. Remember this clarity. Guard it carefully. The enemy of distraction may try to return subtly in the coming days, whispering that nothing really happened. When that voice appears, reject it immediately. You know what shifted. You felt it. The night that carried urgency has now become the night that carried establishment. What remains is the final anchoring of this revelation. The last layer will not introduce something new. It will seal everything you have experienced and declare what this means for the season ahead. Stay attentive, because the conclusion will not only affirm your miracle, it will commission you into what comes next. Precious one, this is the sealing of it all. The urgency has spoken. The transfer has happened. The confirmation has settled. Now comes the commissioning. Because the truth is, this night was never only about receiving a miracle. It was about becoming someone who carries one. When God was crying while bidding you at the beginning, it was not weakness. It was love reaching across distraction. It was heaven refusing to let you sleep through your own elevation. And now you understand why the warning was so strong. You were standing at a spiritual threshold. You crossed it. A miracle that unfolded before you was not loud, but it was real. It shifted your posture. It restored your authority. It sharpened your discernment. It replaced anxiety with clarity. And now, what stands before you is not just a blessing, but a new season. This season will look different. You will move differently. You will speak with more confidence. You will hesitate less. The internal ceiling that once limited you is gone. The hidden obstacles that once slowed you have been exposed and removed. The doubt that once whispered constantly has lost volume. And here is the final truth. This will not be reversed. Divine alignment, once chosen and sealed, creates momentum that continues forward. You are no longer in the cycle of almost. You are in the flow of manifestation. The reason time was emphasized is because decisive obedience creates decisive outcomes. You responded within the window. You did not postpone. You did not dismiss. You leaned in when it mattered most. Heaven honors that. In the coming days, you will see tangible evidence that this night marked a turning point. Unexpected favor. Clear direction. Opportunities that align without strain. Even relationships will begin to recalibrate around your new level. You will feel less tolerated and more valued. Less confused and more certain. Do not be surprised if some connections fade naturally. When you rise in alignment, what cannot grow with you gently falls away. That is not loss. That is refinement. You have entered a season where peace will guide you more than pressure. Decisions will feel cleaner. Doors will open without manipulation. You will recognize what belongs to you and what does not with sharper clarity. And when you look back on this night, you will realize that God's tears were tears of fierce love. Love that refused to let you miss your hour. Love that interrupted your routine. Love that called your name with urgency so your destiny would not be delayed again. Now stand firm in what has been sealed. Type IT is done in the comments if you know in your spirit that this shift was real. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your life. What was established tonight will multiply, stabilize, and expand. And as this chapter closes, hear this final instruction clearly. This message did not reach you by accident. It reached you because heaven wanted light to interrupt darkness at the right second. There are others standing at their own 11:57 p.m., unaware that their miracle is forming. When you sow into this mission, you are not giving to a platform. You are helping heaven reach someone before their window closes. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days it will return to you." That is God speaking promise over your obedience. When you release a seed, you release expectation. If your spirit was awakened tonight, act on it. Use super thanks as a prophetic seal over what was established. Step into membership as covenant alignment with this assignment. So through the PayPal link in the description as a declaration that you partner with light. This is not charity. This is participation in harvest. As you give, I declare that open heavens follow you, that doors respond to you, that provision meets you, that peace guards your household. Do not hesitate. Seal your obedience with action. It is done.